Welcome back to Garage K. It is time to react.
And it looks like it's going to have to be modified straight out of the packet. So what's unusual about that?
Anyway, this is from a channel called Autozam. Autozam. K cars are not so popular around the world. These cars are mainly based in the streets of Japan. They're designed to comply with Japanese government tax and insurance regulations. That's not actually true. Here are the most lovable Japanese K cars. That's just, it's not true. K is not a tax. It's not a tax regulation, and it's not an insurance regulation. Yes, you do get cheaper insurance. Yes, it is cheaper on tax, but that's not, it's not designed to comply with the tax. That statement is fundamentally wrong. The cars weren't designed to comply with the tax and insurance regulation. That's weird. And we've got a list. AZ-1 Alto, S660, Suzuki Cappuccino, Acty Street, Honda Beat. Ooh, and the song is from one song. How long's this video? 8 minutes. One song, 8. Okay. Oh wait, yeah, that's it. Okay, let's click play and see what happens. AZ-1 on screen. KKK car, Jidosha, light automobile, Japanese category of small vehicles, including passenger cars, K-class microvans and pickup trucks, K-trucks or K-class trucks. They're designed to comply with Japanese. Again, he's just saying the same thing that's wrong. It's not true. That's a fake number plate. What do we got? So it says Mazda Autozam AZ-1, 92 to 95. I actually don't know the years of the cars that well. F6A engine, they probably should have said twin cam, but they didn't. Turbocharged petrol, yep, 63 brake horsepower, not really sure. And layout rear wheel drive. Well, is the layout actually rear wheel drive? It's actually, it's an MR, isn't it? Wouldn't you say the layout is an MR? I mean, yes, the rear wheels are driven, but normally that's called MR, isn't it? Like an MR2. Anyway, yeah, okay, I agree with that. Got the AZ-1 book on the dash there, gotta have that. What's written here is basically the same thing that's written on the Wikipedia page. I don't know if it's word for word, but we could probably go through and find out. I don't know if they've done any extra research themselves, or maybe they read that book that was on the dash. I don't know, but yeah, that's really all this is. Okay, that is incorrect. This statement here, with the total production of however many over the years, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, this makes the AZ-1 the rarest of the K sports cars. If you consider that the Curra is a different car to the AZ-1, which it has a different VIN code, like a chassis code. It's a different car, right? It's not the same thing. It's a rebadged AZ-1, yes, but it's not the same thing. It has, you know, different chassis number. It's called different stuff on the insurance, which is one of the criteria for K, apparently, according to this video. So it's a different car. They only made 500 of them. So the Suzuki Curra is actually the rarest of the K sports cars. If you consider the Daihatsu Lisa Spider a sports car, they only made 200 of those. So this statement is incorrect, fundamentally. Alright, so here we've got the CA72V, I think it is, F5B. I don't know why they think this particular Suzuki Alto Works would be top 6 most lovable Japanese cars. Why is this particular one in this? I'm not sure. Let's find out. Yep, same car, different colorway. Top 6 most lovable Japanese cars. So that's making a statement that these are better. I don't know, like, where does it actually say that this is better than the later model C chassis or better than an H chassis? It seems to me that this is just quoting, well, not directly quoting, but using information from Wikipedia on the car. And that's all there was on the Alto. The S660. Why? It's interesting here that they mentioned the S500 being the forefather of the S660, but they don't name it as being one of the most lovable Japanese cars. So the S660 is more lovable than the S500? Why? Cappuccino. Now you all know I love the Cappuccino, but why is it in the list? Is that Greg Ford's car? The Acty. Interesting they went with the Acty and not the carry truck. And the reason I say that is because you see a lot more carries on the road than you do Acties. And you see, like, depending on the town, I've been all over Japan. Depending on the town, you'll see like a group of Subarus, a town full of Subarus, a town full of carries. Acties just aren't as popular. Why is the Acty more lovable than a carry, I wonder? And that's not because I have a carry. And my comments on the Cappuccino, I kind of held back on that because I don't want to seem biased to the cars that I particularly own. Interesting. They've included the van and the truck in the one thing. Interesting that they mentioned the models growing longer by 10 centimeters for the Acty, but you didn't mention that for the Alto. And the Beat. Shaky video. Am I the only one that noticed how wrong the bumper color is? Obligatory skid. And it's not even a K car. Come on, man. Oh, you could have... They're not even K cars. That could have been Cappuccinos on the Torge. Now, unfortunately, this video is just a compilation video, just like the last one that I did. Was kind of hoping for something a little bit more meaty that we could get into. The top 6 is going to be subjective. The main problem I have with this video is that there's no justification for why they are considered the most lovable. It's just quotes from Wikipedia about the cars, but it doesn't give you any insight into why it's lovable. Yeah, it's weird. So that I'm not content with, but what we are going to do is go through the video again, and I'm going to cut back and forth from Wikipedia. The AZ-1 was designed and manufactured by Suzuki, but sold by Mazda under its Autozam brand. Designed and manufactured by Mazda under its Autozam brand. Suzuki provided the engine as well as inspiration for the design, and what they mean by that is that from memory. I'll go from memory because I don't want to just read you the Wikipedia pages. Basically, Suzuki started making a car with gull wings and shit on it, and they gave up on it, gave all the stuff to Mazda, and then Mazda took it forward through 3 or 4 different evolutions, and then they made a production version. You can read all about it on the Wikipedia page. But it wasn't designed and manufactured by Suzuki. That's not true. Unfortunately, by the time car came into production. Unfortunately, by the time car came into production. Same grammar error in this video as there is on the Wikipedia page. Okay, cool. Oh, here we go. In December 1984, a four-wheel drive version, they just cut that part out, was added until, oh no, we cut that part out. Performance versions of the Alto first appeared in September 1985. So they've just, without going through every single car, it seems to be that they've just copied and pasted from Wikipedia. If they didn't actually record any of their own video, they just use other people's videos and they just copied and pasted from Wikipedia. Shit, if it's that easy to make videos, then why don't I just do that? My biggest problem with this is that there's no justification for why these particular cars are the most lovable ones. A lovable K car. What makes a car lovable? The AZ-1 wasn't lovable. It was, according to this video, it says it's the rarest K car. We know that's not true, but let's just say, for argument's sake, that we believe them. A lovable car means it's loved. If it's loved, people will buy it. If people buy it, it can't be the rarest one, right? The ones that sold the most would be the most loved. Wouldn't you say? How about we look at, if we were to go into some kind of database and see how many of these K cars still exist today, that would give you an indication of which ones were the most loved, because that would give you an indication of which ones were the most cared for, if you know what I mean. It doesn't matter with how many you start with. If the AZ-1, I keep saying AZ-1, based on the fact they called it the rarest one, so it kind of, little details like that bug me, but regardless of the fact, it got #1 most loved car. If that was true, there would be more of those left than there would be of anything else, because they started with 4,000 of them. How many of them were loved to the point where they still exist? They made more cappuccinos and they made more beats because they were in higher demand, because people liked them more. But anyway, that's going to be it from me. I'll see you in the next video. Later.